As we continue the story of the Islamic Adam, pay attention to three things. First, the details. Megalomaniacs are so full of themselves they get carried away. They present their preposterous notions as if they were divinely inspired. Second, the worst part of lying is remembering what you said. Most everything Mohammed reveals contradicts something he has or will profess. Third, each tradition invariably devolves into making Mohammed seem prophetic, or Mecca, its Kaaba, and ritual seem divine.
Tabari. When Allah saw the nakedness of Adam and Eve, He commanded Adam to slaughter a ram from the 8 couple of small cattle He had set down from paradise. Adam took its wool, and Eve spun it. He and Eve wove it. Adam made a coat for himself, and a shift and a veil for Eve. They put on that clothing. Then Allah revealed to Adam, I have a sacred territory around my throne. Go and build a house for me there.
This time, the clothes weren't provided by Allah, nor made of leaves. And to spin and weave wool, one has to have a spinning wheel and a loom. Did Eve invent these? And speaking of Eve, in true Islamic fashion, we are led to believe she was made to wear a veil. Adam made it for her, even though they were the only humans on earth. Who was she hiding her face from?
Adam said, Lord, how could I build a house? I do not have the strength, and I do not know how.
Eve knows how to build a spinning wheel and loom from scratch, yet Adam can't pile rocks. And Muslims say that God made women stupid.
So Allah chose an angel to assist him, and he went with him to Mecca. Tabari. Adam built the house with materials from 5 mountains, Mount Sinai, the Mount of Olives, Mount Lebanon, and Al-Judi. He constructed its foundation with materials from Mount Hira near Mecca. When he was finished with its construction, the angel went out with him to Arafat. He showed him all of the rites connected with the pilgrimage that people perform today. Then he went with him to Mecca, and Adam circumambulated the house for a week. Returning to the land of India, he died upon Mount Nud.
I'd bet my life that if archaeologists examined the stones of the Kaaba, they'd find no evidence that they came from any of those faraway places, or that the construction dates to 4000 B.C. But the egregious lie was not without benefit. We have arrived at the motivation behind this fairy tale, the rites and rituals of Islam as they were adapted and ordered by Mohammed. Everything associated with the pilgrimage had pagan origins. Nothing was biblical. Mohammed knew the truth, but he was desperate to give the Hajj a holy spin. His career was dependent upon it, and lest we forget, in our quest to determine his veracity, in this version, Adam returns to India after a week of circumambulation. The last time we played this game, he continued to rotate until the flood. According to the third caliph, Umar,
Tabari. While Adam was in India, Allah revealed to him that he should perform the pilgrimage to this house.
As in, it already existed, and thus it didn't need to be built from the stones of 4 mountains. Then,
eventually he reached the house. He circumambulated it and performed all of the rites of the pilgrimage. He wanted to return to India. When he reached the mountain passes of Arafat,
the place of Muhammad's farewell sermon,
the angels met him and said, You have performed the pilgrimage faultlessly. This surprised him. When the angels noticed his surprise, they said, Adam, we have performed the pilgrimage to this house 2,000 years before you were created. And Adam felt properly chastised.
Okay, so tell me, why did the angels go to Mecca to worship Allah if he lived in heaven? The pages that follow detail the origins of perfume and fruit. We'll take a pass on them and go directly to things essential to Islam. As you read these words, remember that internal contradiction is one of the surest signs something is false. Mohammed, we are discovering, is the poster boy for this dubious honor, and our boy's nose is about to grow a mile longer.
Tabari. The black stone, which was originally whiter than snow, was brought down with Adam as well as the staff of Moses. It was made from the myrtle of paradise, which, like Moses, was 10 cubits, or 5 meters, tall, and also myrrh and incense. Then anvils, mallets, and tongs were revealed to him. When Adam was cast down upon the mountain, he looked at an iron rod growing on the mountain. The first thing of iron he hammered was a long knife,
also known as a sword.
Then he hammered the oven, the one which Noah inherited, and that boiled with the punishment in India. When Adam fell down, his head brushed against heaven. As a result, he became bald, and passed on baldness to his children.
What was a rock doing in paradise? If one could take something, wouldn't they pick an implement more useful than a stone? Yet while that stone was worthless to Adam, it was supremely useful for Mohammed. He turned a Meccan meteorite into the creator God of the universe. But Allah's stone was black. How and why did Snow White turn ugly? Mohammed said.
The stone turned black because it was fingered by menstruating women.
A few more questions remain. If Moses was 5 meters tall, over 16 feet, how did he pass himself off as being part of Pharaoh's family? And finally, how could Adam have hit his head against heaven by falling down? Perhaps this is a clue. Mohammed is telling us something about Allah and the location of the Islamic paradise. Why be so picky, you may be wondering? Ancient mythology and pagan religions are full of such nonsense. Yes, but Islam was invented 10 centuries after the last pagan myth was conceived. So he is without excuse. More to the point, Muslims are killing us today because of Muhammad's claim. Suicide bombers blast themselves into oblivion based upon this maniac's promises. Simply stated, a prophet who makes a practice of lying shouldn't be trusted. Muhammad's promise of paradise for martyrs who die killing infidels can't be relied upon. Calling this verbal diarrhea a religion doesn't make it one. Right from the beginning, there has been a clear and undeniable pattern of deception and delusion, and it never ends. Muhammad was willing to say and do anything in the name of his spirit, so long as it advanced his personal agenda. Muhammad, speaking on behalf of Allah, in an Islamic hadith says,
I shall have one of those houses singled out for my generosity and distinguish it from all others by my name, and call it my house. I shall have it proclaim my greatness, and it is upon it that I have placed my majesty.
Allah is bragging about a stubby pile of unhewn and unmortared rocks. His house didn't even have a roof because there was no wood for beams or carpenters in Mecca.
My majesty.
Indeed. Sounding more like Hinduism than Islam.
In addition, I, being in everything and altogether with everything, shall make that house a safe sanctuary, whose sacredness will extend to those around, those underneath, and those above it.
Some safe sanctuary it turned out to be. Muhammad led dozens of armed raids against the Meccans for control of Allah's house. Even today, the Kaaba is the cornerstone of terror.
I shall make it the first house, founded as a blessing for mankind in the valley of Mecca. They will come to it disheveled and covered with dust upon all kinds of emaciated mounts from every ravine, shouting, At your service, shedding copious tears and noisily proclaiming, Allahu Akbar.
These are the words Islamic terrorists say before they commit murder.
You shall dwell there, Adam, for as long as you live. Then the nations, generations, and prophets of your children shall live there, one nation after the other.
Outright deceit is another way to tell if someone is worthy of being the founder of a religion. There is no trace of a permanent settlement in Mecca, much less a nation prior to the 6th century. Depending on whether you believe Moses or Muhammad, Adam left the garden 6,000 to 7,500 years ago. That's a 4,500-year error.